There is something deeply intriguing about someone who shrinks from a compliment. It's not the common shyness, the one that flushes the cheeks and makes the eyes shine for a second before a muttered thank you. It's something deeper, almost instinctive, as if the words of admiration were stones thrown at an already cracked glass. Have you ever seen someone deflect the topic with a joke, minimize their own achievement, or even argue against the compliment, as if it were an error in the other person's assessment? While most people smile and treasure the positive comment like a trophy, they seem to carry an invisible weight, as if every kind word is a debt they can't repay. And no, it's not nonsense. It's not a lack of education. It's a learned reaction, an armor built over years, sometimes decades, to protect yourself from something that, in theory, should be pleasant. Because compliments, when you look closely, are not just pretty words. They are mirrors. And not everyone is ready to face their own reflection, or worse, the reflection others expect to see. Imagine a child who, every time he brought home a drawing, heard, "How beautiful, now do another one, but like this." The compliment became a trap disguised as affection, an invitation to perform, to be always better, always more. Over time, the brain understands, if I am praised, I will have to respond. If I don't respond, I will be disappointed. And so, what should be a gift turns into a veiled charge. Other times, the praise came from people who were not to be trusted, an absentee parent who suddenly says you're smart but was never there to see that intelligence in action. Then, distrust sets in. If this person, who doesn't even really know me, is saying this, is it true? Or is it just another beautiful lie? These people grow up with an internal warning system that goes off every time someone says something nice about them. Their brain doesn't register you're amazing as a fact, but as a question, am I really? What if I'm not? What if I fail later? It's like receiving a bouquet of flowers with a note, "This is yours, but be careful not to ruin it." The anxiety that should be a relief becomes a burden, and praise, instead of feeding, empties. But there is another layer, more subtle and fascinating. Rejecting compliments can be a sign of radical self-knowledge. These people often know exactly who they are, their strengths, their weaknesses, their shadows, and they don't need anyone to tell them. For them, a compliment sounds like an external noise in an already perfectly tuned internal symphony. Why does someone need to tell me I'm good at what I do? I already know. There is a silent confidence in them, a security that does not depend on applause. They don't reject praise out of insecurity, but because they have enough. Of course, this has its dangerous side. When you systematically refuse recognition from others, you run the risk of emotional isolation. After all, compliments are not just about vanity, they are about connection. When someone says you did a great job, they are also saying I saw you, I cared. Repeatedly refusing this can be a way of keeping others at a distance, of avoiding the vulnerability that comes with being truly seen. And then, what started as protection can become a solitary prison. But what if we looked at this from another angle? What if, instead of a problem, this difficulty with praise was an invitation? An invitation to question, why do I feel so uncomfortable when someone values me? What does that say about how I treat myself? Because, deep down, the way we deal with praise from others is a reflection of how we praise ourselves, or fail to praise ourselves. If you cringe when someone tells you you're talented, maybe it's because, deep down, you haven't given yourself permission to believe that yet. Here's the irony, these people, who know their own qualities so well, ITs, they often forget to celebrate them. They know they are competent, but they don't allow themselves to enjoy that competence. They know they are kind, but they don't let that kindness touch them. It's like having a beautiful garden and never sitting in it to admire the flowers. The praise of others, then, becomes a painful reminder of what they deny themselves, the right to be proud, to love themselves, to take up space. If you are one of these people, no, you are not ungrateful, nor arrogant, nor cold. You only learned, along the way, that compliments can hurt. But they don't have to hurt forever. Maybe it's time to relearn how to receive them not as a charge, not as a lie, but as what they really are, small gifts of light, offered by someone who, for a moment, saw something good in you. And if that still scares you, start slowly. Instead of rejecting, try a simple thank you. Instead of downplaying it, try a smile. Because, at the end of the day, Accepting a compliment isn't about pleasing others. It's about allowing yourself to be loved by them, and most importantly, by you. And if today you recognized yourself in these words, do an exercise. Say one good thing about yourself, out loud. It doesn't have to be grand. It could be I cooked well today, or I was patient when I could have exploded. Repeat. Feel the weight of the words. Let them land on you, like a tired bird that finally finds a branch to rest on. Because you deserve to not only hear, but believe the good things they say and that you yourself could say about yourself. If this resonated with you, tell us in the comments, what was the last compliment you received and how did you react? Share with those who also have difficulty accepting affection in the form of words. And if you want more reflections like this, stay here and we'll continue this conversation. Until next time, with more truths that we sometimes forget to see. The compliment you never knew how to give yourself. There is a type of silence that only exists after an unspoken compliment. That moment when words get stuck in your throat, not because of a lack of merit, but because of an ancestral fear of taking up space. Have you ever stopped to think that, often, the compliment that scares us most is not that of others, but the one that we ourselves refuse to say? Imagine for a moment, if you were your best friend, what would you say about yourself? You are resilient, because you've already fallen and gotten up without an audience. You are generous, even when no one is looking. You are stronger than you think, because you endured nights you thought would never end. Now, ask yourself, why do these words sound like lies when spoken in the mirror? Here's the blunt truth. We're not afraid of compliments, we're afraid of believing them. Because if we believe it, we will have to assume a terrible responsibility, to be as good as they say. And that, for those who have spent their lives shrinking to fit into corners, seems like a burden. What if I praise myself, and then I fail? What if I love myself too much, and then they betray me? The brain, that pessimistic lawyer, whispers, better to stay small. That way no one expects anything from you. But what if we reversed the game? What if, instead of waiting for others to tell us who we are, we started introducing ourselves to ourselves? Not arrogantly, but with the same tenderness with which you would tell a frightened child, I'm here. And I'm doing the best I can. Try it now, yes, right now. 1. Close your eyes. 2. Take a deep breath. 3. Say out loud, I deserve to take up space. My qualities are not accidents, they are parts of me. Feel the weight of the words. They will hurt, because we are not used to carrying good things without suspicion. But it hurts like it hurts to stretch a muscle that has never been used. It's a sign that it's working. And when the critical voice comes, and it will come, because it always comes, respond with a question. If I said that to my son, my brother, or me, best friend, would I be so cruel? Probably not. So why do we accept being so cruel to ourselves? Here's a secret that no one told you. The compliments we reject are like love letters torn up without opening. You can spend your whole life protecting yourself from disappointment, but then you also miss the chance to be surprised by the good in you. And the worst? No one else will give you permission to love yourself. This is a signature that only you can put on paper. So today, do different. Write a letter to yourself, really, get some paper. List 3 things you did well this week, no matter how small. I held the door for a stranger. I didn't swear at the driver who cut me off. I got out of bed when all I wanted to do was disappear. Sign with, from someone who finally decided to see you. Keep this letter. Read it in a month. You will cry, not because you are weak, but because you will finally recognize yourself in the words you always deserved to hear. And now, tell me in the comments. When was the last time you really praised yourself, without irony, without buts? What have you always wanted to hear from yourself, but never had the courage to say? Share this text with anyone who needs to remember that praising yourself is not selfish, it's survival. And if you want more reflections like this, save this profile, because we're going to talk a lot about these truths that we hide even from ourselves. Until next time. And remember, you're not bragging. You are rescuing yourself. Yellow Heart. The power of praising yourself, the quiet revolution that starts in the mirror. Have you ever stopped to think that the biggest critic in your life is yourself? It's not the boss, it's not society, it's not that malicious comment on the internet. It's the voice that whispers in your ear when you make mistakes, that minimizes your achievements, and that often turns even your greatest achievements into normal things. And the cruelest. That voice doesn't take a break. It is there when you wake up. I could have slept earlier. When you work, anyone would do that. When you love, do I deserve it? She's a ruthless judge who never gives you a 10, and, worse, you hired her without knowing it. But today, we are going to fire this critic. Why is it so difficult to praise yourself? The science behind self-sabotage. Our brains are wired to survive, not to be happy. In prehistoric times, anyone who boasted about their abilities, or even acknowledged them, could attract the envy of the group or a predator. Praising yourself, then, was a risk. Today, even without lions lurking, this instinct persists. If I think I'm good, someone will bring me down. And there's more. Imposter syndrome, that feeling that you don't deserve what you've achieved, affects 70% of people at some point in their lives. It's not frills, it's your brain comparing your insides to someone else's Instagram. Don't think yourself culture. Since we were little, we've heard that too much praise is bad. Result: adults who are afraid to like themselves. The myth of modesty. In many cultures, recognizing your qualities is seen as arrogance. So, we learn to dim our own light so as not to overshadow others. But here's the bombshell truth. You are not being modest. You are being unfair. The exercise that will change your relationship with yourself. Yes, seriously. Take a paper. Now. Not later, not when I have time. Now. Write. 1. One thing you did today that took courage, even if it was just getting out of bed. 2. A quality of yours that you admire in other people, e.g. I'm a good listener, just like Maria. 3. A criticism you make of yourself and why it's a lie, e.g. I say I'm lazy, but I work 10 hours a day. Now read it out loud. Alone. As if you were reading it to someone you love. Why does this work? The brain processes spoken information differently from thought. Hearing your own praise activates areas linked to self-esteem. Write by hand. It does not engage the motor system, anchoring the message in memory. Recognizing patterns. I always criticize myself for X, but the evidence shows Y. Breaks cycles of self-sabotage. Do this for 7 days. In the 8th, you will notice 2 things. 1. Internal criticism will lose strength, because you are training a new dialogue. 2. People will start to praise you more. Energy attracts energy. Confidence calls for recognition. What happens when you stop criticizing yourself and start celebrating yourself? 1. Your brain rewires. Neuroplasticity is not bullshit. The more you practice self-compassion, the more your brain creates neural pathways for it. It's like emotional bodybuilding. Repetition generates strength. 2. Your relationships improve. People who love each other attract healthier relationships. Why? Because they don't need others to fill their voids. Self-esteem paradox. Those who value themselves do not need to compare themselves. And who doesn't compare? Inspire others to do the same. 3. Your productivity skyrockets. Constant criticism consumes mental energy. When you stop sabotaging yourself, that energy is redirected toward creating, not defending yourself. University of Michigan study. People with positive self-image make decisions 3x faster and have 22% more resilience in crises. 4. You become a magnet for opportunities. Confidence is not thinking you are better than others. It's knowing that you are enough. And that. Open doors. Law of real attraction. It's not magic, it's psychology. Confident people convey competence, and competence attracts chances. But what about the fear of appearing arrogant? Demystifying the taboo. Here's the fine line. Arrogance equals I'm better than others. Self-confidence equals I am good enough. One is poison. The other is oxygen. Tip to avoid crossing the line. Praise their actions, not their essence. Crossmark I'm amazing. Generic, seems like jingoism. White heavy checkmark I managed to finish that difficult project. It shows my ability to focus. Specific, fact-based. Recognize without comparing. Crossmark I'm smarter than so-and-so. White heavy checkmark I studied a lot and it brought me results. Give thanks instead of bragging. Crossmark, I'm the best at this. White heavy checkmark, I'm grateful to have developed this skill. Rule of thumb, if your praise inspires others to grow too, it is not arrogance. It's leadership. The secret nobody tells you: self-compassion, self-esteem. Self-esteem depends on performance. I'm good because I do X, I have Y, I achieved Z. It's fragile. One bad day, and everything falls apart. Self-compassion is different. She says, I accept myself not because of what I do, but because of who I am. Flaws, fears, and everything. How to practice. 1. Treat yourself as you would a friend. If your friend made a mistake, would you say, you are useless? Of course. So why do you tell yourself that? 2. Recognize your humanity. Making mistakes is normal. Crying is normal. Having bad days is normal. Repeat, it doesn't make me worse, it makes me human. 3. Change I should. To I'm doing my best. The first sentence generates guilt. The second, relief. University of Texas study. People who practice self-compassion have less anxiety, more motivation, and deeper relationships. Because acceptance is not conformity, it is the soil where growth is born. Your next 30-day challenge. Yes, you will do this. 1. Small victories journal. Every night, write down 3 things you did well, even if it's I drank water or I didn't swear at the driver. Why? It trains your brain to see the positive. 2. Compliment in the mirror. In the morning, look into your eyes and say one thing you like about yourself. No irony. Tip: start with something physical, I like my smile, and progress to qualities, I'm a loyal person. 3. Never again list. Write 3 criticisms that you repeat to yourself and replace with truths. X. I will never say I'm stupid again. The truth is, I'm learning, and that's courage. 4. Share an achievement. Tell someone, even if it's online, something you're proud of. No excuses, no buts. Side effect: you will realize that others also see you this way. What do you get from this? Beyond a better life. Lower stress. Less internal criticism equals less cortisol, the stress hormone. More creativity. The brain in safe mode releases dopamine, essential for innovation. More authentic relationships. Those who love themselves attract people who also know how to love. Armor against other people's opinions. When you know your value, external criticism loses its power. The last question, and the most important. If you can't trust yourself to praise you, who can you trust? No one will live your life for you. No one will applaud your silent steps, your invisible battles, your small daily revolutions. This work is yours. So start today. Not tomorrow. Not when I deserve it. Now. Because loving yourself is not a prize you win in the end. It's the fuel that gets you there. Now, tell me in the comments. What is the criticism you repeat most to yourself? Let's take it apart together. When was the last time you felt truly proud of yourself? No buts, no discounts. Share this text with anyone who needs to hear that. White heavy checkmark: praising yourself is not selfish, it's justice. White heavy checkmark: your victories are not normal, they are yours, and that makes them special. White heavy checkmark: you're not bragging. You are rescuing yourself. And if you want more reflections like this, save this profile. Because we are going to talk a lot about these truths that we hide even from ourselves. Until next time. And remember, the world already has enough people judging you. Don't be one of them. Yellow heart. P.S. If you've made it this far, it's because something in this text resonated with you. Don't let that resonance die into I liked it and moved on. Do the exercise. Today. Your future self will thank you.